Warm welcome to 5th semester EC department and Triple E department students. So today we are going to learn a very interesting subject, that is digital signal processing. For that we are going to see the introduction to DSP. Myself Satyaraj, assistant professor working in EC department, RMK College of Engineering and Technology. So let me start the subject with the course outcomes. So first course outcome is to categorize the different types of signals and systems. We want to know what is a signal, what is a system, and we have to say the difference between the different types of signals and systems. Second course outcome is to learn the linear time invariant system with respect to Z transform for the different inputs. So third course outcome is to compare the discrete Fourier transform and the fast Fourier transform. Fourth course outcome is to realize the finite impulse response filters using windowing and frequency sampling techniques. Fifth course outcome is to design the infinite impulse response filter with different types of approximation. And the last course outcome is nothing but to summarize the different DSP processors and their architectures which is suitable for different applications. So let us start with the basic definition of the signals. To understand DSP, we want to know what is a signal. Signal is nothing but anything which carries information. So anything which conveys information is nothing but it is a signal. So I can define it technically as a physical quantity which varies with respect to time, space or any other independent variable. So for example, signal I can write it as x of t is equal to 2 into t. That means x of t is a signal which is a continuous time signal which varies with respect to time t. So if it is more than one variable, I can say it as a multi-dimensional signal. If it is a single variable, I can say it as a one-dimensional signal. So based on the number of variables, signals are classified into one-dimensional signal and multi-dimensional signal. For example, I am going to say the EEG signal and ECG signal. So EEG stands for electroencephalogram, which is used to measure the brain activity of the patient. Whereas ECG signal stands for electrocardiogram, which is used to measure the heart activity of the patients. So next we move on to system. So system is nothing but it is a physical device which takes the input signal and processes the input signal and produces the required output signal. That is, it will produce the excited output or response. So technically we can define the systems as a set of elements or functional blocks which are connected together which produces an output signal for a given input signal. So we can say different systems which is electrical systems, mechanical systems, electrochemical systems and electronic systems. So given below is a system which is a example for the system which is a thermistor. So thermistor, when we press the device, it turns from off state to on state, that is, which varies with respect to voltage and time. Next we move on to the two different type of signal, that is analog signal and a digital signal. So we have to understand what is an analog signal and digital signal. So analog signal is nothing but it is a continuous wave which keeps on changing with respect to a time period. So example, we can represent the analog signal with respect to a sine wave, whereas digital signal is discrete in nature. It can be represented by a square wave. So look over the diagram. It is the wave which is continuous in nature, that is said to be an analog signal, and whereas a wave which is with respect to discrete instances and is said to be a digital signal. So we go for continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So CT signal is said to be continuous time signal and DT signal is a discrete time signal. We'll want to know what is a continuous time signal. So signal specified for every instance of time over the period T is said to be continuous time signal. So in x-axis you have time period and in y-axis you have x of t, where x of t is varied continuously with respect to time. So given diagram shows a waveform for the a sine omega t, that is x of t is equal to a into sine omega t, where a stands for amplitude, omega is nothing but 2 pi f which is the angular frequency and t is nothing but time period. So next we move on to the discrete time signal. The second diagram shows the discrete time signal. So signal specified over discrete instance of time is said to be discrete time signal. So it is specified with denoted with respect to x of n. So x of n will be in the y-axis and n will be in the x-axis. So the example is x of n is equal to a sine omega n. Here a stands for amplitude and omega is 2 pi f and n is with respect to the discrete instance. So with respect to discrete instance of time, if a signal is specified, that is said to be a discrete time signal. Let me explain the basic elements of DSP. So the basic elements of DSP consist of an input analog signal. So how this analog signal is got from the input, that is, we can use a transducer, that is a microphone, which converts the sound signals into electrical signal. That signal is an available analog signal. So that analog signal x of t is given to the anti-aliasing filter. That anti-aliasing filter is nothing but it is a low pass filter. The low pass filter allows only the low frequencies and rejects the all other higher frequencies. So that signal is given to the analog to digital converter. The analog to digital converter converts input analog voltage or current into a digital number. So the ADC, the purpose of using this ADC is to convert continuous amplitude analog signal to discrete amplitude digital signal. So now the signal is passed through the DSP processor. So the DSP processor, it will process the input signal, that is, it has a large programmable digital computer, or it can be set as a small microprocessor which will process the operation required on the input analog signal. So the digital output which will be got from the digital signal processor is given as the input to the digital to analog converter, that is D2A converter. So the D2A converter, it is acting as an interface which converts the digital to analog signals and it processed by means of quantization process. So with respect to quantization process, the signals are then given to the output filter. The output filter is nothing but it is a reconstruction filter. So which reconstructs the input signal and and the original signal, analog signal, is produced at the output. Now the same block diagram is given as an overview of to understand what is DSP. So now the input signal, whatever I am talking, that is a speech signal. That signal is taken as an input through the loudspeaker. The loudspeaker, it will process the input signal. It will give the input analog signal to an ADC. So ADC, it will convert the analog signal to digital signal. So that will be passed, the digital signals will be passed through the DSP processor. So the DSP processor processes the signals which requires for the analog signal, that is, it processes the operation based on the input signal and it processes the input, that is digital input, which is given to the digital to analog converter. Now this digital to analog converter converts the required digital to analog signals, and whatever signal we have given as the input, that signal will be obtained at the output. So next we are going to see the elementary continuous time and discrete time signals. So these are all the different elementary continuous time and discrete time signals. So first we are going to see the unit impulse signal, which is denoted by del of t. So del of t we can define with respect to basic physics from the Dirac distribution function integral minus infinity to plus infinity del of t dt is equal to 1. Where del of t is equal to 1 for t is equal to 0. So look over the diagram, del of t is equal to 1 for t is equal to 0 alone and 0 for t not equal to 0. And next is unit step signal. Unit step signal is denoted by u of t, which is equal to 1 for t greater than or equal to 0. The value of the u of t is 1. It starts at t is equal to 0. After t is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. up to infinity, it is throughout 1. Next, unit ramp function. Unit ramp function is denoted by r of t. It is nothing but r of t is equal to t for t greater than or equal to 0. How I am getting r of t is equal to t is, for example, if I plot for t is equal to 0, that is r of 0 in the y-axis and time t is equal to 0 on the x-axis. So I get for 0, r of 0 is also 0. And for r of t is equal to 1, for t is equal to 1, I am getting r of t is equal to 1, etc. So it increases as a ramp signal. Next is the sinusoidal signal. So sinusoidal signal is nothing but denoted by the expression x of t is equal to a sin omega t plus phi, where a stands for amplitude and omega stands for angular frequency, which is 2 pi f, and t is nothing but time period and phi is nothing but phase. This is the sinusoidal signal. And next is the exponential signal. To describe the exponential signal, we can say two conditions. One is rising exponential signal, another one is falling exponential signal. I can denote it by an equation x of t is equal to a e power alpha t. So this is a exponential signal which is a complex exponential signal. So for complex exponential signal, x of t is equal to a e power st, where a stands for amplitude, s is the complex variable, and s is equal to sigma plus j omega, right? So substitute s is equal to sigma plus j omega in the equation x of t equal to a e power st. Now this becomes x of t is equal to a e power sigma plus j omega into t. Now we can split the equation using the power rule, so which is a e power sigma t and a e power j omega t. So now I can write it e power j theta, which is cos theta plus j sin theta. So in place of theta I have omega t. So which is a e power sigma t into cos omega t plus j sin omega t. First graph stands for exponentially falling, which is sigma less than 0. And second graph stands for exponentially rising, which is sigma greater than 0. So next is a parabolic signal. So parabolic signal is given by the expression p of t is equal to t square by 2, where t greater than or equal to 0 and 0 for t less than 0. When you substitute the condition, when you substitute t as 0, you get 0 square by 2, which is 0, and p of 1, which is 1 square by 2, which is 0.5. So the graph is like this. This is the parabolic signal. Represents a parabola. Next is a rectangular pulse signal, which is otherwise called as a gate function. So rectangular pulse signal is otherwise said to be gate function or a boxcar function, which is used to denote the unit pulse signal. So the unit pulse signal in a rectangular pulse is given by the equation del of t is equal to 1 by a for modulus of t less than a by 2 and 0 for modulus of t greater than a by 2. And next is a triangular pulse signal. So when you triangular pulse signal, how will you get the triangular pulse signal? When you multiply or when you take convolution of the two rectangular pulse signal, we get the triangular pulse signal. So the triangular pulse signal is denoted with respect to cap of t by capital T, which is equal to 1 minus modulus of t by capital T, where modulus of small t less than or equal to capital T and 0 for modulus of t greater than capital T. Next is a sin c function. The sin c function, we have the numerator, that is argument of the sine, and the denominator both will be same. It plays a role for the interpolation formula. So this is the when two or more signals overlap together, which is said to be an interpolated signals, which is the sin c function. So next is the unit signum function. So signum function is denoted with respect to SGN of t, which is equal to 1 for t greater than 0 and 0 for t equal to 0 and minus 1 for t less than 0. So this is used to predict the range of the signum with respect to domain of a real number. So that is numerator value and the denominator value ratio will be positive, which is taken as plus 1, and negative of the numerator with respect to ratio of denominator is negative, it is said to be minus 1, and the both numerator and denominator both are 0 is said to be 0. For t is equal to 0, the output t is equal to 0. So there is no connection between the origin and t is equal to 1. So both t is equal to minus 1 and t is equal to plus 1 are constant function except origin 0. So we can say it as precise graph and commonly used graph for the signum function is closely related to the unit step function with a relation 2 into u of t minus 1. Next is the basic discrete time signals, which is given for the reference. We have seen previously the continuous time signals. This is discrete time signals. So dt impulse signal, dt step signal, dt ramp signal and dt sine wave signal. So next we go for the applications of DSP. So the applications of DSP has a variety of applications with respect to speech processing, image processing, sonar and radar processing. Sonar stands for recording of the sound waves and radar is the radio waves. And then spacecraft engineering studies and then seismology studies with respect to prediction of the earthquake, that is seismic signals with respect to prediction for the earthquake occurrence, and consumer electronics, which is for television or audio. So let me start with the sonar and radar. So sonar and radar, which is shown in the first diagram, that will be that is emitted waves will be sent through the antenna and the reflected waves will be transmitted through the transmitter. So these are all used to extract the information from the given signal. And then second one is the spacecraft signal processing. So during the spacecraft signal processing, which takes place when a aeroplane engine noise is also introduced along with the control tower voice, and both the signals are overlapped together, which is passed through the filter. The filter will filter out the useful signal, which is the control tower voice, which is used for processing of the signals. So thank you students for your patient listening and have a wonderful day. Thank you.